This is the Coin Show Podcast, the show about coins and coin collecting, and not just any show. This is the #1 coin collecting podcast, going 10 years strong. Here's Matt Dinger and Mike Nottelmann on the Coin Show Podcast.
And this is episode 169 of the Coin Show Podcast, coming to you live, sort of, from the Newman Numismatic Symposium, from the Newman Numismatic Portal.
Yeah, buddy.
The Newman Numismatic Symposium. So today, on this special episode of the Coin Show Podcast, we will answer a listener question, as well as field questions from our live audience at the NNP Symposium. We'll ask, was Mike reading? Okay. And if that's not enough, we're going to field our competition segment, the coolest thing to walk into my shop this week. But first, as always, the news.
What do you got for us? Who's the news brought to you by?
It's such a big deal this week that we actually have two sponsors for the news this week.
Holy cow, go for it.
This episode of the Coin Show Podcast is brought to you by wine. It's a color. It's a gift from nature. It can even be an annoying tone of voice. This week, it's our sponsor. It's wine. And brought to you by waffles. Before you could put pancakes in a toaster, there were waffles. The breakfast of independent children for over 50 years. Waffles.
I love them both. Amazing. Yeah. Both amazing.
Absolutely. So, Matt.
Yes, sir.
Let's see. So the Central States Numismatic Society has named Larry Shepard as their new convention manager, according to an article in Coin Week.
Saw that.
Now, I'm sorry?
I said I saw that. That's very interesting.
Yeah, Shepard's vision of the Central States Numismatic Society is one that reaches out to an audience of collectors between 30 and 50 years old.
That's me.
So he feels that this is the demographic to pursue going forward, and actually I agree.
Yes, for sure. 100%.
Yes. So Shepard is quoted in the Coin Week story as saying, quote, "This is the point in the coin collector's life cycle when people who were interested in coins as a kid become re-engaged with the energy and resources to pursue the hobby in earnest." Now, all too often, in my opinion, coin organizations focus on the 50-plus-year-old collector, and while they have more time and resources in general, the 30-year-old is where that 50-year-old came from.
Yeah.
And they can be an enormous source of growth for our hobby going forward. Shepard's also quoted as saying that as the world moves past COVID-19, the organization needs to be more agile and adaptable to change. And that's kind of a trend across businesses, across corporate America.
Yeah, I think everybody's finding their new normal right now.
Yeah, agile is one of those key buzzwords, though. It's like I hear it a lot. I love the analogy he uses, though, when he says, the next couple of years are going to be Class 5 rapids for coin shows, and some of them, including a couple of the large ones, are not going to make it through to smooth water. We don't want Central States to be one of them.
I actually agree.
Love the analogy, though.
Yes, for sure.
I have long opined that, we need to target younger people if we want the hobby to thrive, not just survive. And we have to target younger audiences and understand the behavior of the differing demographic groups. So yes, you really won't attract, the 30 to 50 crowd with the same stuff that gets the 50 plus crowd. And we're not saying that you need to slow down on where you outreach to that population. We're saying, here's another segment that you can go. It's a very large segment. It's a bigger segment than the 50 plus group. And they're also, very, very interested in what we do.
Yeah, I would say that's probably correct. I do see a lot of people in that kind of age range at the shows that I go to, and I'm sure that, and as well as my customer base in the shop, I think that that's kind of our demographic at the moment too. So it's pretty well founded. I think it's a good target to aim at.
Well, look, those 50-year-old collectors were, they were young ones, right?
Sure.
And it's really a matter of trying to figure out where that place where they return is. And typically it is at the point where they've had a couple of children and now they start to have some disposable income. So I think that, 30 is probably about right.
Yeah, I think so too.
But, yeah, because, not everybody 30 years old is going to be ready. But I think if you go after much younger than that, you're going to be wasting a lot of your time. Heritage Auctions will feature part 1 of the Bob R. Simpson collection next month, entitled Important Selections, which includes many coins from the Lord St. Oswald collection, including this 1795 silver plug dollar.
Ooh, now that is a cool coin.
Yes, yes it is. Now, amazingly, this dollar is not only the finest known silver plug dollar, grading an absolutely amazing MS65 Plus by PCGS and confirmed by CAC, but it's the second finest known flowing hair dollar, period.
Wow.
So also included in the sale are going to be 2 1794 half cents, a 1793 chain cent, 24 1794 large cents, 3 1795 half dollars, 2 1794 silver dollars, and 3 1795 flowing hair silver dollars.
Good Lord. Somebody, Simpson's pulling out the big boy coins for the auction.
Well, this is only part 1.
Well, I know, but that's a heck of a start.
I know. You definitely want to get it off the ground, hit the ground running. I think they've done so.
Yes, sir.
Speaking of finest and second finest known coins, a second finest known coin was discovered this week.
I read this story. This is crazy.
Yeah, so at the February 2020 Paris Grading Week, a box of 14 gold coins were submitted to PCGS for bullion coin grading. In the box was an 1884 CC $10 gold eagle. Now, that coin has an original mintage of 10,000 coins.
Yeah, it's not very many coins at all. It's a very scarce coin.
PCGS CoinFax estimates the number of survivors to be under 300.
Yeah.
And of those, 174 have been graded by PCGS, the finest of which is certified at MS63.
Yeah. Not a coin that comes in monster high grades either.
No, this coin grades MS62 plus, meaning that it must be really close to the finest known coin as far as condition, but probably falls just a little bit short.
Yeah. Looks like a nice coin. Looks like a heck of a coin in the pictures.
Yeah. It's amazing to me. So I think something important to note, this coin was discovered overseas by PCGS Paris.
Yeah.
Now, when they announced that they were opening an office there, I recall my reaction was a bit puzzled, right? Other than as a European presence. But as this evolved, I now see a much smarter strategy at play in this. After the 1933 gold recall, many of the gold coins from the U.S. were hidden away in Europe. And I'd be willing to bet that the PCGS strategy has been centered around the fact that as these coins have now been hidden for nearly 100 years, they have now been proven to be illegal to own again in the U.S. for nearly 50 years. And so as such, they're likely going to be repatriated in the next few years. As they do, important discovery coins can be found and verified without having to take every coin across the ocean to find out.
Yep, that's right. Cool, very cool. I love it when stuff like this pops up because this coin's been hidden away in Europe. If the coin could only talk, I guess, I bet it would tell a very interesting story.
Yeah, well, a lot of people have always asked, where did all these gold coins come from, especially the common date stuff that wasn't, that was supposed to be surrendered. And it's like I've always heard the stories of, well, most of it, escaped to Europe. It was hidden in Europe in coin vaults and banks, safe deposit boxes. Well, it's like now, those people are dying off. And so these coins are starting to come back to the surface. And who knows what kind of rare stuff we're going to see.
It's hard to say, but it should be interesting. It's coming out for sure.
A sign that the economy remains upright is the fact that CoinNews.net is reporting that during the recent profit-taking and market correction, major retail sellers of physical gold and silver coins and ingots say they did not encounter significant panic selling by customers.
Yeah, I can see that. We really didn't either. We bought some from longtime customers and people we've been dealing with, but
panic selling for those listeners that really don't understand it. No, explain it. Would you explain it?
I'm sorry. Explain panic selling. Panic selling is when people get kind of rolled up in the market, and they think that they just have to sell everything now because the bubble's popping and that they need to sell while it's high.
And the bottom is falling out.
The bottom is falling out. You know, there's going to be worth 30% less tomorrow morning than it is right now. So I think there's some confidence in this market from an investor standpoint. There's some confidence that this trend is going to continue, at least for the near future. And I think I've seen that in the shop as well, just from the average people coming in to buy bullion and sell bullion has kind of stayed relatively equal. So that tells me that there's just as many people out there buying as there is selling right now. It's not lopsided one way or the other. So it's good. It's good. It's good for the market, and it means that I think that there's still quite a bit of confidence in this run.
Yeah, it's actually a good economic indicator. But look, in my opinion, there has been a $300 movement in the price of gold. Yeah. And it's been for the past 3 months. So because of that, you're going to have some profit taking. There are going to be some people that take a little bit of profit. And there's nothing wrong with that.
For sure, yeah. No problem.
Absolutely not. It's okay. The fact that they took a little profit but yet remained, there, and that the demand still is high, that's generally a sign that bullion prices are healthy. And although gold hovers near, it's like all-time high, it shows no real sign of retreat.
Yeah, I mean, it's just kind of hovering there in that like 1920 to 1950 range for a while.
With this kind of gold price, you would expect to see the stock market in the tank.
And you're kind of seeing the opposite right now.
Opposite, yeah. It's at an all-time high. So, at least for now, that's good.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens. More to come. In U.S. Mint news, the 2020 proof set has sold over 330,000 sets in 6 months.
How does that compare to previous years? Oh, Mr. Proof Set.
Well, they're down a bit from last year.
Down a bit from last year.
But the W Mint nickels are still helping to drive sales, but to a lesser extent than the Lincoln cents did last year.
Yeah, I think.
We're just interested in Lincolns.
Far more popular series, I believe.
Yes. And as such, the 2019 proof set remains on sale at the U.S. Mint website. The final mintage is approaching 600,000 sets.
Cool.
I think we're looking at about 500,000 sales for this year.
Okay. So,
I mean, that's about right. If we're at 330 now, maybe at least 400.
Yeah, you still got the holidays coming, and I think that's probably about right.
Okay. So now my next question to you is, do you think that they're going to keep doing the W Mint coin thing until they do all the denominations?
For sure. 1,000%. Yes, they have to now.
Okay, so isn't this lowering the West Point Mint's capacity to make silver eagles?
I don't know. I don't know the West Point Mint's capacity.
It's more important to make the BS little throw-in coins that nobody's really interested in.
I don't know.
Silver, gold.
I don't know, man.
Here's the thing is they can make the silver and gold anywhere. It's not like they're at full capacity. You've got Denver yet. You've got San Francisco. You've got Philadelphia that you can use. So.
People just like that W Mint mark. They like that little West Point Mint, and they like anything that it puts out.
Because it's never been intended for circulation, yet they've seen it on so many coins now.
Yeah, they've seen it on those circulating quarters. They finally, did put something out for circulation, and now people are kind of clamoring for West Point Mint coins.
Yes, and the coin distribution problem is not helping with that.
Yeah.
But the Mint has also announced that it produced nearly 1.7 billion coins for circulation in July.
What coin shortage?
So in response to nationwide coin shortages, the Mint has been doing its part and a bit more in trying to help. The Mint coin production last month topped production from pre-COVID months.
Yeah.
And accomplished using a partial capacity of their facility due to social distancing measures.
1.7 billion coins while they were social distancing.
Right.
Wow. That's pretty
cool. I mean, if you look at the article that I gave you, it shows some of the mintages from pre-COVID, and, 1.2 is a big number.
Right.
And that was at full production. So 1.7, they're humping it.
Maybe they're bored.
Well, they got nothing better to do, right?
Right.
You just go home.
Yeah.
The 2020 Colorized Basketball Hall of Fame commemoratives are now available.
Did you buy one?
No. need to answer it like that, but I mean, no, not even. I mean, look, what do I have sitting on my desk? I have a box with the kids set in it, right?
Yeah.
The silver dollar features a red hoop and white net, with the rest in monochromatic splendor. And the clad half, look, I'm selling it, right? And the clad half dollar shows not only the colorized hoop and net, but also gives you a fully colorized basketball.
Yeah.
Now, I still don't get it. Why would you do two different versions? But here's a better question. Are you aware that the colorization is done post-mint by a private company?
No, I actually did not know that it was done by a private company. Obviously, it was done post-mint.
It's actually mint products.
Huh.
As soon as I found that out, I got mad.
Angry Mike.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah, that's funny. I did not know that. That's interesting.
They are definitely made by another company that does it for the mint, and that's just like, are you serious?
You know what George has to say about that, right?
Oh my.
Yeah, well, I agree with George. Let's see. I believe it mentions it in the article as to which company it is that does it.
Let's see if I can find it here.
Hester Basketball Hall of Fame, 2 distinct images, hue, pricing limit, surcharges.
I don't see it. You must have seen it somewhere else.
Yeah, I read a lot.
Yes,
so.
you do. So,
all right, back to the news. And of course, PCGS will offer special labels for the colorized coins. The labels say first official colorized U.S. coins.
Interesting.
Well, I guess since the TPGs say they are bit issues, but I guess I missed that detail in my reporting over the recent months. NGC will do nearly the exact same thing, so not a slam on PCG.
Wait, you're really salty about that, aren't you?
I am. I'm really mad. But NGC will do the exact same thing.
You sound awful salty.
Tip-off releases for coins received in the first week of release, and early releases and first releases labels for anything after that.
Really, tell me how you really feel about this, because I hear nothing but you talking about first release label. Yuck. Now tell me how you really feel.
I really feel like horrible.
Oh boy.
Horrible.
It's not very often that Mike hates on a modern coin, but boy.
No, yeah. Well, I mean, you look, I get it. I think that it's important to be innovative, and I thought that this was an innovation. And the enameled Canadian Mint things were done at the Canadian Mint.
Yeah, here it is, right here. It says it's in this story. It says being colorized post strike by private lender Lula Rose. Huh.
There you go.
Wow.
Horrible.
Horrible.
The women's suffrage centennial coins opened well, selling over 10,000 proof silver dollars for the first week.
Yeah.
The Barbara Bush first spouse gold lagged a bit, with sales of just under 25,000 coins combined between proof and uncirculated versions. The high price of gold may be contributing to this slow start.
I think the mint's just counting down the days until that set is done.
Well, that's the problem, is now that they've opened up this can of worms, it may never be done.
Well, I mean, done for now. They're getting down to the end of it.
No, they already were at the end of it. They haven't made a coin like this in 2 years.
Oh, that's right. And then Barbara Bush.
They've opened up the can of worms that they're going to continue it.
Well, I mean, that's fine. But I think they're just kind of glad that the series is kind of wrapped up in a way. Because
no, you are.
I am. I mean, the series itself was lackluster. It didn't sell many coins.
Yeah, well. But anyways, the coins sell for over $1,300 each for a half-ounce gold coin. So I would lay that to the low mintage, to the low demand.
Yeah, I guess you're probably right.
Yeah. The CCAC will be considering designs for the U.S. Army silver medals, the 2021 National Law Enforcement Memorial Commemorative Coins, the Hidden Figures Congressional Gold Medals, and the David J. Ryder U.S. Mint Director Medal. The committee will meet to discuss these design candidates in September on the 22nd and 23rd. The meeting is open to interested members of the public and the media. The public may dial into the meeting and listen at 3301716. Use the access code 1137147. This will be listen-only access, but you can actually hear the meeting as it goes.
Cool. No, I like that.
Yeah.
Never done that. Maybe you should do that and see what it's like.
You know, it's funny because I had talked to Dennis about, maybe getting me into one of those meetings. He said to me, Mike, you can get yourself into the meeting. And in a story of interest maybe to just me, but it's my news, so a Civil War token from Frederick F.R. Bear's Saloon in Detroit, Michigan features a bear on the obverse carrying a mug of beer and a reverse a wreath surrounding a bowling ball and a bowling pin.
That's my kind of bear right there.
Yeah, I did not know this token's existence.
No joke. That's so cool.
I mean, that's just me. He's drinking beer and he's bowling.
Yeah.
So Heritage Auctions will have one up for bid in September, according to a story by coinweek.com. Unfortunately, the estimate puts this coin at near $1,000.
Holy cow.
It does have a very cool story, too, but I don't think we have time. Yeah, I don't think we have the time for it. It's an interesting story. It's, again, Minutemen coming to the rescue of the United States. I think it's cool. You should look it up. Yeah. Read, and you'll know more. And finally in the news, Writers' Awards were given this month by both the ANA and the NLG. So that's the American Numismatic Association and the Numismatic Literary Guild. The ANA's Heath Literary Award recognizes published articles in the preceding 12 months. First place went to a Harlan J. Burke alum, Tom DeLaury, and his partner Dan Owens for their article, Not a Ghost of a Chance, Revisiting the Mystery of the 1873 S-Seated Liberty Dollars. Nick Breuer won second place for Bruna's Treasury Notes, and David Shankman garnered third prize for Turnpikes and Toll Roads, Tokens, Tickets, and Script of America's Early Highways. The Numismatic Literary Guild honors numismatic authors in several categories, including Best Specialized Books, which honored our friend and Coin Week podcast host, Charles Morgan, and his partner, Hubert Walker, for their effort entitled 100 Greatest Modern World Coins. Book of the Year, which went to Daryl Hayner this year for United States Classic Gold Coins of 1834 through 1839. Numismatic columns, periodicals, websites, auction or fixed price catalogs, audiovisual, and special awards. In fact, a special friend of the Coin Show podcast, Leanna Spurrier, was in two categories for her work in audiovisual, getting to know Eric P. Newman for the Newman Numismatic Portal, and for her numismatic feature article for coinweek.com entitled Japanese Bar Money.
Well, she's a rock star, so she deserves it.
She's everywhere. So congratulations to all the winners. These are people who drive our hobby, and their hard work should be recognized, as it's this very grassroots level at which our hobby really creates most of its growth.
You're listening to the Coin Show Podcast with Matt Dinger and Mike Nottelmann.
Yeah. That was.
It was sponsored by. It's sponsored by wine. It's a color. It's a gift from nature. It can even be an annoying tone of voice. But this week, it's our sponsor. It's wine, and also brought to you by waffles. Before you could put pancakes in a toaster, there were waffles. The breakfast of independent children for over 50 years.
Waffles.
Waffles.
Wow, well, you're right. When you said, Matt, I have a marathon news segment.
I told you it could be epic.
It was epic. You were exactly right. So I love it.
So what's next on our agenda?
I don't know, driver. Where are we going?
Well, I think that we should answer a listener question.
Okay.
Should we do that first, or should we do what's Mike reading first?
It's up to you, friend. It doesn't bother me.
You know what? Let's throw one more segment, and that'll give people a chance to kind of think of something that they want to ask if they want to in our Zoom call on an MP symposium.
Certainly. Yep.
So we'll do that to benefit them. So we'll move on to what's Mike reading. One of the segments that we like to do on our show, we don't do it all the time. We kind of throw some segments in and out. We do In the Shop, which talks about some of the stuff that happens within the shop.
Mm-hmm.
Our shop mostly has been about bullion for the last 3 months. because that's really what's going on in our shops. But so I decided for the special audience, I would bring you another What's Mike reading. Mike is doing a little light reading at this point, just kind of cruising over some stuff. First of which is a guidebook to barber silver coins. This is the second edition that was recently released by Whitman. What I like about these Bowers series books is that they give you relative rarity, they give you keys to collecting, they give you optimal collector grading. So if you want to know, if you want to build a set, the optimal collector grade for these coins, date by date. And it goes through and it gives you history each year, which will help you understand a lot of the stuff going on.
Right.
Well, one of the questions that I really love that gets asked all the time is that if you look at the mintage of a 1913S barber quarter, and you look at the mintage of a 1901S barber quarter, the 01S is way, more. There's way more of them that were minted, but is worth way more than the 13S.
It's because they got used up.
Well, not only that, but the history tells us that there was an earthquake in 1906.
Oh yeah.
And so a lot of the 1901s disappeared into the earth forever. So that's one of the reasons. So history is always going to be really important. So love this book from Whitman. I'm also doing a lot of research. So the Standard Catalog of United States Tokens by Ruel.
That's like
light reading. This has just been like by my bedstand, doing a little bit every time I go to bed.
You leave it in the bathroom.
This generally will work. But no, the thing with this is I've been investigating a lot of tokens and a lot of stuff. I've been contributing a lot to the token catalog.
Okay.
Yep. I look for one. It's one of the first places I check. And if I have a one that doesn't show up on their site, I always send them a picture.
Nice.
Yeah.
Super cool.
And this is not a shameless plug. I'm actually trying to learn the world so that I can get to do better at work. The 100 Greatest Ancient Coins by Harlan J. Burke. So this is really helping me to kind of figure out the ancient world and how it's collected, because it's a completely different animal.
It is very, very confusing if you're not a student of that history. So.
Well, I think that there are a couple of things that once you have those in your mind, a lot of it makes more sense.
Yeah.
But you have to have somebody kind of explain it to you, and that's for a while the coins were made by moneyers rather than being made by governments. The fact that the armies, were the reason for most of the coinage. They did it to pay their armies, so they were minted all over the world wherever the army happened to be.
Yep.
Right. It's stuff like that, knowing that you have basically the Byzantines and you have the Greeks and the Romans. And that's pretty much where the whole tree of ancient coins comes from.
Yeah, for sure. I love ancients, so I'm glad that you're actually learning about them. And I mean, obviously working at Harlan Burke, it's kind of a prerequisite to have a little bit of knowledge on the subject, but yeah.
Yeah, it's one of those things where, like Miyagi says, it's like karate yes, okay, karate no, okay, karate maybe still squash like bug. So yeah, that's kind of what I'm going through. But that's what I'm reading. That's what I've been working on lately. There's a self-published work on sample slabs that I've been reading by a listener.
Yeah.
Hageman.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been pouring through that as well. It's neat to see people with specialized knowledge putting it forth for other people to learn.
Yes, for sure.
That it's like big kudos to Isaiah either way. We will have him on as a guest at some point forward on our show, to talk about sample slabs and particularly counterfeit slabs.
Yep. That's his cup of tea.
We're expert on that stuff.
Cool. So that's anything else in your 5 books that you're reading right now?
Well, I mean, that was just 3. I would be reading a Mega Red if somebody would send me one.
Dennis.
Just saying. So I think it's a good time to take some listener questions.
All right. Well, let's. You have one lined up, right?
have one lined up, so we're going to tee this one up.
While you're doing that, I'm going to pop over and see if anybody watching live.
We'll get over to the Zoom call. We can kind of see if there are any questions there that we can
Yep. All right.
listen.
I'll let
So
you
this
go first.
comes from Evan Griffith. Evan says, "Hey guys, I'm looking forward to this for two reasons. I think maybe you didn't see it before episode 168, and I realize I should have sent it to the pair of you. Don't know why I didn't the first time. So he sent it to both of us.
Okay.
So he's a huge fan, and he was interested in learning about POW script.
Okay.
So I think that we replied, with a little bit of what we knew. He found an interesting tidbit in his current favorite game, Call of Duty Warzone. They have weapon packs, which provide what are called skins for weapons, which basically just cosmetic. And one of these weapons was called Comstock in a pack called Silver Surgeon.
Yeah.
And immediately recognized it in Comstock and was so proud to have learned something from our show.
I love it.
Anyways, on to his question. He's in his last semester of college
Okay.
and finds himself wanting to work in numismatics.
Okay.
He says, I don't know if somebody with a degree in criminal justice with a law enforcement area of emphasis can do this very easily. So my question is this. How would you recommend I or anyone who wants to work in numismatics get started? Thanks again, and sorry for the lengthy email. I just edit whatever I don't want to read, so that's fine. Let me hold this before we get to you, because having recently entered the numismatic business, I can tell you that absolutely it doesn't matter what your education is. Nobody is looking for people with coin degrees. It's cool if you have one.
I think there's only a few people in the world that do, but yeah.
But it's never stood in anybody's way from moving into the business. I think that so much of the knowledge that you have in this business needs to be learned through experience anyway. That just kind of getting yourself into a coin shop in any capacity, sweeping the floors, sending the mail,
Security.
Security, doing any of that stuff. Anything that gets you in the door makes you a candidate when they're looking to replace.
Yeah, I mean, it's coins for most people don't pay the bills. I mean, most coin dealers I know started off being vest pocket guys, being eBay sellers, being, guys that set up with their little local coin shows. And that is kind of a way to get started. I mean, you can still, keep the 9 to 5 and then on the weekends, hit the coin scene and get your knowledge, gain your experience. And I think that's kind of a way to ease into it before you make that ultimate jump into doing it to support yourself, because it's not easy. It's hard to buy and sell coins to support yourself. So I think that if you kind of, being at that point, just finishing up college, you might take the career path for a while and see how that does for you, see how you like it. And just keep kind of doing coins on the side, keep doing the eBay thing. eBay is a great way for people to buy and sell coins that don't necessarily do it full time. You can still make a fair amount of money selling stuff on there, and you can do that, evenings and weekends. And so I think that before you make that ultimate jump into it, at least make sure that you have the experience that's required to do it, and also make sure that it is exactly what you want to do. So I know several people that I've known over the years that have got into different fields and decided, what, I hate this. So you don't want to invest a couple years of your time into something, just decide that you hate it. So that's my advice for you.
Also I will say that the overwhelming majority of at least the coin shops that I know are family-owned businesses.
Yes.
And unless you know somebody, they are kind of tough to get into. It is generally best to take the career route for a little while and, never stop learning about numismatics and about coins. Create an expertise. As you do that, you'll get to know certain dealers. And as they get to know you and get to know what you know, over time, that may actually, give you more of an in.
Yep, definitely. I agree. Yeah, good question. I like that. I've got a couple here if you are ready to move on to another one.
I am.
Scott Barman says, so that's what you guys look like. Yep.
I'm sorry.
Hi, Scott. That's us.
Hi, Scott. Apologies.
Another question here says, has working at Harlan Burke inspired you to consider collecting ancients, or are you going to stick with modern?
Actually, I'll tell you what. Harlan J. Burke has inspired me to stop collecting.
Wait a minute.
Because, look, I see all kinds of stuff come through that shop every day.
Right.
And a lot of the stuff is stuff I can't afford. So now I get to play with it, 40 hours a week. And so when I go home, I don't always want to do that anymore. I mean, I just don't. It's like, there are other things that I like to do. But I think that my thirst for knowledge has never stopped. I still, as you can tell, I still read a lot about it. And I'm still learning, and I've got all that to do. But for the most part, I have really stopped collecting because the stuff that I really like, I just can't afford to own it.
Well, yeah, and I've always said that. I quit collecting a long time ago, but I live vicariously through my customers.
Mm-hmm.
I love helping them. I love seeing their stuff. I love seeing them happy. I love finding them the perfect coin that they are going to like, not just me. And that's what the most satisfaction I get out of being in the shop. So.
And here's one thing that I will tell you that I have, and I've said this about Harlan Burke since I started there, is that they believe in placing coins into collections. They believe in finding high-end, high-quality coins to place into a collection. So I didn't understand this at first. I had a guy that came in, he was looking for an MS-65 21-piece dollar, right? And I'm like, well, I could find him a coin. And my boss looks at me and goes, Mike, we've got a guy who deals with high-end slabs. Let him find the coin.
Right.
Because he knows the market, he'll get us a better price on it. He'll be able to negotiate it better with the customer. At the end of the day, the customer's going to end up with a better coin. When that customer has that better coin, there's a very high possibility that when they pass it on to their heirs, that it's going to come back to us.
It's just a big spin cycle.
Way of doing business, that they believe in placing high-end coins with collections so that they come back and you can sell it over and over and over again. And it's been evidenced by the 1892 proof set that they've owned 3 times now. Well, 4 times.
Wow.
4 times. It's true.
That's cool. That's super cool. And that's great advice. Let's see here. Oh, here's a good one. It says, hello, my name is Larry. I'm 13 years old, and me and my friend Parker host a podcast called History of the United States, or the U.S. Mint Podcast. And,
Good for you.
And have a channel called LAP Coins. We're big fans of your show. Do you have any advice for us? So Larry and Parker. Mike, what advice would you give them?
Well, keep doing what you're doing.
Yep.
Do your research. Read.
Yep.
Ambush your partner with knowledge quizzes.
No, don't ever do that. It's a terrible idea.
It beats ambushing them with physical challenges.
Oh, yeah.
Concentrate your lesson on that one too.
Yes, I sure did.
Okay. And always, just always remember your audience. So, look, me and Matt, we goof around a lot, but at the end of the day, we are trying to educate. We're trying to put forth a message, and I mean, we truly do enjoy just being together. So it's just, that's what it is. It's just keep going, keep doing stuff, keep entertaining.
Yeah, I mean, my advice would be just be yourself. Just don't try to be anything. Don't. There's a lot of people on YouTube. My kids watch YouTube all the time, and there's a lot of people that are just very over the top, very large, and just be
like I am at the beginning of the show.
Kind of, sort of, but just be you. Just provide the information in a way that's unique to you, and people will like it. And I think that I wish you guys the luck. All the luck, and I'm gonna have to come check out your channel and your podcast for sure.
No. But always check your research. Double check your research.
Or just do what we do and let the listeners check it for you, and then email us angry later when we're wrong.
Well, fortunately, that hasn't happened too much because, here's the thing is once you put it out there, it lives out there forever.
Forever.
You pull it back and fix it. It's gone.
Yep, that's right.
Yeah.
That's right. Well, my friend, it looks like unless anybody knocks one in real quick, I think that's going to be it for over here. So I guess we're going to do everybody's favorite segment now, huh? Is this the one? Is this the time?
I think this is the time.
All right. Well, let me play a little thing here once I get back to where I need to be. I'm so lost. Okay, here we go.
You got it?
And now for the coolest thing to walk in this week. A competition segment between Matt and Mike to see who's had the coolest thing walk into their shops. Who'll win this episode? Let's find out. Matt? Mike? Who's got the coolest thing?
You know it's going to be me, for sure. You're going first.
Here's something that I love about this. You come on every single episode touting that you're gonna just absolutely waste me. And since we've done this, how many times have you won?
All of them.
Whatever. Whatever. All right, so you know what? I'm going to go first.
Okay.
I'm going to go first.
Let's take a look.
Yeah, let's take a look. So this is something that absolutely just walked into the store this week.
Okay.
You hadn't seen them yet. They are brand new. And I'm quite certain that I don't really understand why somebody was selling them right away.
Well,
These are Canadian 2-ounce Kraken's series coins.
The Kraken.
The Kraken.
Release the Kraken.
Release the Kraken. And so this one is a giant squid for 2020. It is the first in the series. They've got a really nice heft to them, as Matt likes to say.
Yep.
And really are available for pretty close to melt.
Yeah, they're not much more than silver right now, which is kind of cool.
Right.
And, I honestly think it's the first time I've ever seen a Kraken on a coin anywhere.
I still don't know. You got to educate me on Krakens. What is this whole thing about?
A Kraken is a mythical sea monster that would attack ships and take them to the bottom. It's not a real. It was just a big squid.
Would it be Davy Jones?
I don't know exactly where it came from, but I just know that it's a giant sea monster that eats
so this is
ships
going
and
to be an
sailors.
entire series of sea monsters coming from the Royal Canadian Mint.
Because why not? They make
Right.
everything else.
Hey, it's a 2-ounce piece of silver at the end of the day. And you're really not paying much more for it than that.
And it has Her Majesty in her splendor on the other side.
You know exactly how I feel about her.
Tell me again, please.
Totally.
Wow. Holy cow.
Hot babe. Just can't help myself.
Oh my. Where's George when I need him? All right. So that's what you got, huh? That's all you're bringing this week? That little 2-ounce thing?
You know what? Watch where you throw the stones, because I remember doing that last time and catching a bunch of flack from you over some common wheat cents.
All right. Well, let me just show you what walked into our office this week. I actually just took these pictures yesterday. So
I hate you.
we brought a really, really cool New Haven Restrike Fugio scent.
I really hate you.
Why is that?
It's this coin.
It's a super cool coin. Do you know the story behind these?
No, you got to tell me.
So the story behind these was in the mid-1800s, somebody thought they had discovered some original dies for the Fugio scents in Connecticut, and somebody else bought them and started striking coins with them. But I believe it turned out that the dies were not original dies. So they struck all these restrikes in. I'm sorry?
Does that make them counterfeit dies?
I believe I was reading about them the other day, and I'm not quite sure where I got that. I couldn't quite figure out why they thought that the dies were genuine, but they're definitely not. The designs are slightly different, especially if you look at the rings on the back are much more pronounced than they are on originals. So they're definitely not original dies for Fugio scents, but they're still really cool pieces. They were made in the 1850s, and they actually, there's not very many of them out there. Just several hundred, from what I could tell from my reading. They did them some in silver, some in copper. This one, obviously, you can tell is copper, but
All right, now as soon as you said these are restrikes and they were struck in 1850s,
yes.
immediately makes me think that Longacre had something to do with it.
It's possible, but these were done in Connecticut. They called them New Haven restrikes, but they weren't really from New Haven. I think that's just where one of the dies came from.
Sure.
But yeah, I mean, it's a very interesting piece, and you know, obviously the Fugio cent is one of the most iconic American coins of the early colonial period.
Well, yeah, it's one of the very first.
Yeah, and you know, it shows the rings that are meant to show unity, and it has the mind your business on it, and it's a really really neat iconic American coin. So, don't
the rings on the real Fugio have the names or at least abbreviations of the colonies in the rings?
I know that the Continental Dollar does. I don't remember if the Fugio does or not. It's been a while since I've had a really nice one.
This same linked design ended up on the chain set. Basically, it's a design that's based on this that ended up on the chain set.
Sure.
People didn't like it for that reason, that it kind of resembles a chain.
Sure, you know, it's a very iconic early American design showing that they were united, the states were united, and it was basically a shot at the British government, telling them to mind their business and stay out of our business, and we're done with you.
Do you really think that was like a big middle finger to England?
Oh, I'm sure it is. I'm sure it was. You know, considering that our earliest American coins literally said "mind your business" at the bottom, and we are one.
That was speaking to the colonists. I don't know. I mean, I truly don't know.
This was definitely aimed at the British.
Okay. So, love it.
Yeah, very interesting piece. So that's it. That's what we got.
Right. So you tell me, do you like Matt's, Fugio pattern restrike, or do you like the portrait of Her Majesty in all her glory on the other side of a Kraken coin?
That's how I feel about yours.
Yeah. Okay. Well. So write to us at MikeyCoinShowRadio.com, Matt at CoinShow. Don't bother, Matt at CoinShowRadio.com. Mike at CoinShowRadio.com. Questions at CoinShowRadio.com. I'm still waiting for the hate mail that I should have gotten last week. Didn't get it.
Yeah, well, it's coming.
Maybe it wasn't that controversial.
Wow.
Oh, Matt. This is like this is another episode in the can. This one's a special one. This one is for a new venue.
Yeah, I'm really happy that they asked us to come do this. I was informed about the symposium and then asked to do it, and I said, "Heck yeah, I'm in. Let's do this." And I didn't even ask you. I just said, "Let's do it."
I believe Newman Numismatic Portal was founded.
Oh boy, here we go.
12, somewhere around there. See, but because they were talking about it at one of the ANAs, and it was in one of the talks that they had, and I remember that I went to the ANA. It was here in Chicago, so I remember going to the talk about it, and I was looking at this, going, "This is going to be awesome."
You're right.
All this stuff online that you can access at any time, that you can research, that you can look through. In some of my research on tokens and on, we got a whole mess of stuff. I found a whole mess of stuff during COVID, right? That was in the corners of the shop.
Right.
I mean, we went through everything trying to figure out what we could find.
The coronavirus deep clean. We had one of those too.
Yeah, so the NNP actually was an amazing tool for me, because I could go back and I could look up the auction catalog. They had the auction card in there that had the lot number on it. So I could go back and I could look up the auction lot, and I could see what the description was, and it told me exactly what it was. It was like instant research. It was really cool.
Yeah, see, there you go. Perfect reason why this is awesome, and we're glad to be a part of it. So
absolutely.
Well, sir, another one in the can, 169. Holy macaroni.
Yeah. Do you have anything else for us?
Nope, that's it. You want to take us out of here, buddy?
I think I will. So we would like to thank the people who helped make this possible, either by inspiration or support, both psychological and financial. We'd like to thank Ernesto Aguilar and Justin Irvin for all the hard work that they do behind the scenes. We'd like to thank the people who support us on Patreon. You know, if you'd like to help make this show possible, this one right here, Coin Show Podcast, just go to patreon.com/The Coin Show, and you can donate on a one-time basis or make a monthly subscription. If you subscribe at the $5 level or higher, you'll have access to our Not the Coin Show podcast on the off weeks. Trust me, it is a completely different show. And
1,000% different.
yes, with no real agenda or schedule or rhyme or reason, but it is fun. So most of all, thanks to those of you who listened, without whom this entire endeavor would be entirely pointless. A special thanks to Newman Numismatic Portal and the NMP Symposium for having us as their guests. I don't know if they knew what to expect, but I know we had a ton of fun doing it.
That's right.
Coin Show, I'm Mike.
And I'm Matt.
And we will talk to you next time on The Coin Show.
What? Wow. All right, let's play us out of here. Goodbye, everybody. Goodbye.
Bye, everybody.
You've been listening to the Coin Show Podcast with Matt Dinger and Mike Nottelmann. The boys will be back soon with another informative and entertaining episode. Meanwhile, you can follow the show on social media at The Coin Show on Twitter and Instagram, and on Facebook at facebook.com/The Coin Show. You can also join their private group. Just search Facebook groups for Friends of the Coin Show and request access. But if you want to take it to the next level and support the Coin Show podcast, you can go to www.patreon.com/The Coin Show. If you subscribe at the $5 a month level or higher, you'll have access to Not the Coin Show podcasts on the off weeks, as well as other surprises reserved for our patrons. Visit our website at coinshowradio.com or download our podcasts on Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Spotify, or wherever you download your podcasts. This has been the Coin Show Podcast.